All right, we're live. I think we're both a little exhausted from New Orleans still. I think everybody, like every media member, fan, player, everybody who went down to New Orleans this past week, is just exhausted.
Yeah, I've been back for a couple days now, and it's
I, di-
just
I didn't
the
even drink.
results.
Like, I don't
Yeah,
even
well,
drink, and I'm dead.
I'm mentally fatigued just from the games because obviously the Carolina Duke game was absolutely insane. Probably took 5 years off my life, and then it almost just felt like the national title game was just a letdown spot. But then Carolina fooled everybody into being up 15 at halftime, and I got hope because I went into that game with very little hope. I was like, if we beat Duke, like Kansas is probably going to wipe the floor with us. And they gave me hope. They inspired me. 15 minutes, 15-point lead at halftime. I was like, this is really happening. And then it was too good to be true. So that mentally fatigued me as well. I'm probably going to die 10 years sooner now just because of that Final Four trip.
I know. John and I, we were sitting there at halftime as a 15-point lead. We're pissed off. We're with a bunch of Kansas fans too,
Oh, yeah.
and we're looking at each other like, all right. We had a hotel. We had to get a hotel in Baton Rouge, so we had to drive about an hour and a half back. We're like, do we just leave now? Do we just leave now?
You
And
can. You're at the
we're like,
national
we're like,
championship.
we're like, it's a 15-point game. We're like, all right, we're gonna wait till the under 16 timeout and see what's going on. Kansas brought it within like an 8-9 point game.
Oh, yeah. They
Before
went
the end.
on.
It was like the 17 minute because Hubert called that first timeout. We're like, all right, looks like we got a game on our hands.
Oh, yeah. Well,
What a game.
They came out with an instant like 5-6-0 run. I told my cousin when we were in the student section down there, I was like, at halftime, I was like, that was a great first half. Could not have gone any better. Double-digit lead. That last second bunny basket by Puff. I was like, the start of the second half, I was like, first 5 minutes, either Carolina will come out fired up on a run, go up by 20, and effectively end the game, or they will give up a 6, 7, 8-0 run, and it'll be cut to single digits within 3 minutes. And sure enough, that happened, and I just knew. It just felt – I thought after the Baylor game we were done choking leads, but it's the national championship. Kansas was a superior team. Like, obviously, I'm heartbroken about it, but it is what it is.
I mean, Carolina just choked, man. Like,
they stopped running their sets. They started playing early in the year. Carolina me ball.
Well, the thing is, even in like other games, they weren't really running their sets. They're still just making the hero ball shots,
hitting tough shots. And that's what I was going to say next is they were taking shots they normally hit. They just weren't falling. It's not like they were jacking horrible shots every possession. It was shots they've consistently hit throughout the tournament.
Because that's the thing. Like in the Duke game, they weren't running really any sets. They were just chucking shots. I mean, that Brady Manic corner three, that elbow three, and then Caleb Love, he had a lot of space on that dagger three.
His basketball Hall of Fame shot. Oh, God. No, they were playing inspired. No, honestly, though, that's what it is you live and die with those shots. And they've been living with them all tournament. They've been working out. It kept advancing them. And then they just stopped making them, and then they had nothing to turn to, is what I saw.
I'm not going to lie. I think this Kansas team is one of the worst title teams we've had in probably a decade.
I thought about that.
Besides the 2014 UConn team, that team wasn't that good. I mean, it had Napier and Boatwright. Those dudes were studs in college basketball, but like, really, like, what's on this Kansas team that like
wasn't Oriaki on that team too? Wasn't that his? Yeah. Alex Oriaki, remember him? Yeah. I don't know. I think that's a pretty good take, just because it doesn't seem like, even against Carolina, which I'm a diehard Carolina fan, even against Carolina, it seems like Kansas had the easiest road to a title.
Oh, yeah, they definitely did. I really thought when I was like, okay, if Duke can get past Carolina, I was extremely confident against Kansas. Even at like an emotional letdown spot, I was like, we can still beat Kansas. We match up great with them. We should be able to handle them, but whatever. You got to beat Carolina to get to the championship game, so it is what it is.
Yeah, it was a tough scene, just sitting there and the Kansas confetti falling down. Man, it was rough. I mean, I
got out of there immediately. We were sitting in like the 300 or 500 level on the corner behind the Carolina section. We saw that shot went in, and like it's almost like watching a building tip over. You're just like, it slowly falls and then crashes. That's what it looked like all over the student section.
It was pretty bad. We were some of the last few in there just because, well, I mean, obviously it sucks that Carolina lost, but I wanted to see You know, like I'm at the national championship. I wanted to see everything as hard as it was. And I don't know. I thought just because I was in person, this felt a lot worse than 2016 on the buzzer beater. Like the buzzer beater, like ripped my heart out, sure.
Well,
But
and
being there
also,
and seeing that and just like that energy just draining from the building. Oh God, it was
well,
horrible.
because when Carolina, I can't remember what happened on the play before, when y'all were down 3 and you had
I
the
think,
ball. I think you guys
oh,
just missed a shot or whatever.
well,
Or is it turnover?
no, it was a missed shot and then 2 offensive rebounds and 2 more like forced threes before they finally. And we got like 2 or 3 offensive rebounds on that last
And then
possession.
you guys
Then
fouled, right?
threw it to the corner. Leaky lost it out of bounds. We didn't foul. We were down 3, and they threw it in bounds. And
That's right.
Wilson, I think, stepped out of bounds.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
When
we got one more chance.
And then because I was getting texts on my phone, it was like, "Let's go, Kansas! It's over. Oh, Kansas wins." I was like, "It's not over yet. It's not over yet." After that out of bounds play, and of course he steps out of bounds just to rip the hearts of every Carolina fan, just to tease them a little bit.
Yes, literally.
Make me sweat. And then you're just like, oh my gosh, Carolina's gonna hit this 3. It's gonna go to overtime. They're gonna win the national title in the worst fashion as a Duke fan. And then Brady, because that play was designed for panic. You could easily tell. And then he just stumbled and fell.
Seems to me like we lost to that rinky dink ass, jank ass court that was being played on. Actually, I'll say this real quick. Puff Johnson and RJ Davis are both in my history lecture, and my professor yesterday was I don't know, he like congratulated him or whatever, and then he was like, "So Puff, like, did that national championship floor feel a little different, or feel a little, not up to par or whatever?" And Puff was like, "Oh, it felt a little different, a little more bouncy, but I mean, they played on it for the game before, so I mean, you can't blame that. It does suck that there's that video of Baycott twisting his ankle on the floor move, because I don't want that to be true. Like, I don't want to like look for an excuse, because that's not an excuse, but that sucks."
Yeah, I mean, dude, what a performance by Puff Johnson. The thing with Puff Johnson's performance in the title game is every single Carolina fan is going to convince themselves going into next season, like, all right, we got the next Cam Johnson on our hands. I think he can really take that next step where he's averaging about 16.5 points per game. I think he's got this.
I don't think that'll be the case. I think he'll be
what? I'm not saying that will be the case. I'm saying this whole offseason is just going to be Carolina, inside Carolina. I think Puff Johnson can really take that next step up. It's like, oh, who's going to take that next step up? Anthony Harris? Like,
yeah. I don't think it's necessarily true that he'll take that massive leap like a Cam Johnson role. I do think he'll be a consistent piece, 20 plus minutes a game, either off the bench or starting, whatever it may be with the lineups, how they shake out. I think he'll play 20 plus minutes a game if he stays healthy next year.
Yeah. So last thing, New Orleans, man, how does that place exist?
I'd never been there. I didn't know what to expect. Bourbon Street is like it's on its own thing. It's its own different animal.
I know.
But just the surrounding areas is like I don't even know how to explain it. It was just it's fun. It's fun for a night, but and then after that,
another
you're like,
universe, man.
Like, I don't want to go wait in line 20 million years for a nice restaurant. I guess I'll go to Shake Shack for the 3rd time in 4 days.
Shake Shack, that Shake Shack down there was so good.
It was good. We had it before we flew out.
We were like, oh, we want to try a New Orleans restaurant, and then we like went by Shake Shack, and Shake Shack only had like 4 people in line. We're like, dude,
exactly. That convenience, that no wait time.
I was like, I'm not waiting 10 years to get some seafood. I'm like, but it was a good time. I mean,
it was.
Duke lost. It was a good time. I mean, what a Final Four to be at. Like, that's one of the most memorable Final Fours in a long time. Because you think about like previous ones. Last year, besides the Jalen Suggs shot, like I couldn't tell you what happened in the other games. Really, besides Baylor blowing them out. 2019 was a solid one with like Virginia Auburn, Virginia Texas Tech. Those were good games. But and unless your team wins, like usually a lot of the Final Fours are kind of crappy. Like the Villanova 2018 Final Four is probably one of the worst ones ever.
Yep, 100%. And that's the thing. Like people will remember this for, Carolina Duke. Obviously, it was a great national championship game. The result wasn't what I wanted, but it was a great game as a fan of basketball.
Yeah, but all right, nothing New Orleans. Let's do real quick. College basketball's over. Sad time.
Yep.
Just really brief. What do you think about Carolina going into next year? Who stays? And do you guys have any big recruits coming in?
All right, so as of right now, there was a way too early top 25 release. Carolina came in at number 5. And recruiting wise, Seth Trimble's coming in. He's a pretty good guard. I
Baycott's
don't
not
think
leaving, is he?
I don't personally think so because unless you're guaranteed first round draft pick money, I don't think you leave, especially if like he had a great year, but his game doesn't translate well to the NBA. And I think he's got to know that. And I think he will be told that if he tests the waters or, even just ask somebody like an executive or whatever. Like, I think he'll be told that. And I think he does return. I really do. It's not exactly reminiscent of the 2016 year when everybody came back to try to run it back one more time. I do think that's a high possibility. I do think Caleb Love comes back. I definitely think RJ Davis stays. I think that's a surefire stay. I think Armando comes back too. Obviously, we lose Brady Manick to the graduate. He's a graduate, 5th year. But the only person I don't know that would come back that could is Leaky Black for a 5th year. It kind of seemed like this was his last ride, calling it quits. A couple of his posts on Instagram I saw are like, not like reading into it too much, but like it kind of seems like it's his last year. So I'm thinking the majority of our lineup comes back next year, and I feel pretty good about our chances to run it back. Recruiting wise, though, Seth Trimble, guard. Jalen Washington's a pretty good 4-5 big man coming in, and Tyler Nickel, decent shooter. They might get some run. I don't know. I'm worried about some transfers off the bench, though. I think Kerwin Wald might be gone. I think DeMarco Dunn, there's a decent chance he's gone if everybody stays. Just because they didn't get that consistent run this year. Hubert only ran a 6-7 man rotation.
Yeah.
So it was just hard to fight for minutes. I do feel good, though.
Because, I mean, Duke's obviously, I think it's going to be a lot of the same thing. I mean, it's going to be weird with Shire for Duke. Yeah. I think Jeremy Roach comes back, and I think everybody else on that team is gone. Mark Williams gone, Bankero gone, Keel's gone, Wendell Moore gone, and AJ Griffin gone.
They're all surefire first-round picks, besides maybe Keels. But there's 4 of them that are sure first-round picks.
I think Keels will fall into the second round. And then Joey Baker. Joey Baker's for sure gone.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I don't even think Bates Jones is even allowed to play anymore. I'm so lost. Like, when they talk about like CBA stuff and like all those like random rules in the NBA or any of the leagues, they're like, they have arbitration, CBA, whatever. And you're like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
I feel the exact same with these grad transfer rules now in COVID years. Like, I have no idea. Guy could be in his 9th year, and I have no idea. Because isn't Brad Davidson playing another year?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure he's going into his 6th year. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like 24.
And
which is ridiculous.
Someone may have redshirted. They have like 7 years.
Yeah, it's kind of insane. Like I get the COVID year. I agree with that, but there's so many other loopholes. 100%. There's so many other loopholes before that, though.
But I think it's going to be the same thing with Duke.
Do you think? Okay, so let me preface this by saying I think Brady Manick's success is that 1-year grad transfer in the Carolina system. I think that's going to do wonders. I think I think Carolina will probably get another starting caliber 4 or a 20 minutes a game player in the transfer portal this year and maybe years to come. So I want to ask you, with Shire taking over, do you think Duke maybe looks in that transfer portal a little bit more instead of these one and done guys, or do you think it kind of stays more the same?
No, he loves one and done guys because we just got another one and done guy in the Tyrese Proctor yesterday. The 2023 class, because everyone's worried with Nolan Smith leaving. Everyone's like, oh, they're all going to go to Louisville now with him. No, they're not.
I don't think it's that big a deal.
No, I think he'll get a couple transfer portal guys, but I don't think it'll be. I think it'll be literally the exact same thing. And whether I think if it has success early, he'll keep it. Next year will dictate a lot of how he starts to recruit.
I think that's the same thing for Carolina basketball, because I think if Brady Manick had a down year and wasn't what people thought, there might be less look in the transfer portal. But I think now, not that you listen to your fan base, but I think everybody's kind of accepted like this is a great route to get a quality piece to a contending team.
Yeah. One thing we'll close on college basketball on this. Are you worried that Carolina overachieves so much and there's kind of that hangover? Because now the expectations are there. It's no longer, hey, this is the cute underdog. Like, how it's like the Knicks last year. The Knicks were somehow the freaking 4th seed in the NBA. Now they're same old Knicks. They're the 12th seed in the East. I mean, I would be a little worried as a Carolina fan because can Caleb Love, can these guys deal with true expectations where, if you lose, it's a big deal. Like, you guys can't be losing these games.
It's a little bit reminiscent of UCLA. the 11th seed, making that deep run, and then this year, obviously they were pretty
That's
good
a
this
good
year, but
comparison.
they were a 4 seed. Like they weren't top of the line like people thought a returning Final Four team with all their starters returning should be.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me a little bit of that. I feel like there will be a drop off. I feel like there'll be some bad losses early on, just looking ahead. But I do think the team, if everybody returns, they're built for the tournament. So I feel like they're capable of making another deep run. I don't think Carolina basketball will be consistently top 5 next year, though. I don't think it'll be that. And that's okay. Like obviously I would love that, but I don't think they'll be consistently in the top 5. I don't think they'll be a 3-loss team. That's not.
I think college basketball is going to be wide open next year. Like we thought it was open this year. Clearly it was. I mean, Gonzaga is going to be a lot worse.
Yep.
I mean, yep. I don't think Duke's going to be the same as they were this year, even though Duke wasn't like insane.
Yeah.
Kansas is obviously going to have to lose some pieces. Villanova, I don't even know what their roster looks like after.
Arkansas was picked as the way too early number 1, and I just feel like you can't trust. Like
I wouldn't trust Arkansas.
Yeah,
that's the problem with every AC or SEC team. I don't trust any SEC coach or team as a favorite. Yeah. I don't trust Calipari as a favorite. I don't trust Bruce Pearl. I don't trust Eric Musselman. Name a couple. Like even when Tom Crean when he was at Indiana, I know he's not there anymore, but like when he was at Georgia or Indiana, if he's ever a favorite, something's wrong.
Shout out somebody I met on the trip. We got to talking a little bit about basketball, and the first thing whenever I brought up Kessler was Bruce Pearl's a crook. Bruce Pearl's always been a crook. It was hilarious. So if that tells you anything.
Oh my goodness. Fun people down in New Orleans, though.
That is true. Everybody was very just.
It was a good time.
Do whatever. Yeah.
Like even when you met Carolina fans, it was still fun. Nobody was like that awful and stuff.
I think everybody had that mutual respect. Like, oh, everybody's down here to see their team in the Final Four.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good time overall.
All right. Well, college basketball's over.
All right.
Hey, we're now into baseball and golf. This is awesome. Best time. When
now's when you turn off your podcast and just cut it.
All right, so we're gonna talk some baseball. Opening day. I mean, I think the Mets are really gonna win the World Series after winning 4-1 over the Nationals.
The Braves open up the season. Lost.
Should Braves fans have their hand over the panic button after getting waxed by the Cincinnati Reds yesterday? I think yes.
Well, you see Matt Olson replacing Freddie Freeman. I just don't know if that consistent production will be there. I can't even do it.
And that was talking baseball.
And that was our baseball segment for the entire 2022 season.
No, I'll chime in with some BS baseball. Pretend I'm watching.
I'm
just gonna start being a troll on Twitter with baseball Twitter, because baseball Twitter is so
they gatekeep everything, and you have to be perfect. And then if you say something wrong or something they don't agree with, they're just like, you don't know the game, you don't know the sport.
Yeah, which clearly I don't. I couldn't. Yeah, I don't even. I really. If you had to ask me, I don't know what ERA means. I really don't. But I'll pretend I do. I'll act like I know what that stuff means. But
I know it has to be low.
Yeah, I know it needs to be low. It's like a golf number. But no, dude, baseball. I'm just gonna. I chose the Mets in 2019.
Yep.
Because we were at a game and we left. We got there at the bottom of the third, left at the top of the seventh.
That was a rough game. Oh,
that was awful. It was so hot. The YMCA sitting next to us.
Your legs are just sticking to the seats.
Your legs are just sticking to the
screaming
seats.
Kids.
And we're just we're in New York City. Why are we at a day Mets game against the Padres?
Yeah. It's 90 degrees and the sun's beating down on you. Yeah, cool. DeGrom's pitching. I'm 5,000 feet away. I can't even see his jersey number.
And then and the guy, there's a Mets fan next to us, like, that was a strike. I'm like, dude, you can't tell.
You have no idea what he just pitched. Gosh.
Oh my goodness.
I followed the Braves through their World Series run last year. I watched all those games, but other than
bandwagon.
I like the Braves. I've always liked the Braves, but I'll never watch a regular season baseball game. It will not happen.
I don't know. I watched one full 9-inning baseball game one time in my life, and it was the Cubs, Indians.
Oh, the World Series?
World Series, yeah.
Yeah,
that was
awesome.
I
watched the World Series. Yeah, I
can't even watch a full World Series. It's so long, dude, and so boring. I don't know how people do 162 games. I have trouble keeping up with the NBA.
Sorry, I lost you there for a second, but
okay.
No, yeah, I don't know.
I can't even keep up with the NBA with the 82 games, like let alone 162.
Oh yeah, it seemed a little absurd. All the double headers and the new rules they've implemented, the ghost runner and everything. Did you see like there's going to be no more like pitch calls? They're going to do like the what is it, like the not the robotic thing, but like the I can't think of what it's called.
Like
but it's
digital,
not like
digital signals like coming in like a microphone.
Yeah, it's something like another way to do it, like a buzz
so people
your
can't
wrist or
sign
something
steal
like
and stuff.
Yeah, so people can't sign steal, and people are like, oh, like that's part of the game. You're ruining the integrity of the game. I'm just like, well, the game's got to evolve eventually. You have to like that's why there's a ghost runner on second extra innings, and they shorten doubleheaders. Like nobody wants to go sit through 4 hours of baseball and then another doubleheader game after that for 162 times a year. Like I'm sorry, like yeah, there's a select few diehard fans that love it, but like me and the general public who's a sports fan but not a baseball fan, I'm not gonna say, hey, let me take my family to a baseball game, or I got this night open, let me go spend it at the ballpark. That's not happening.
Let's start pissing off some like baseball purists, because I think there needs to be a pitch clock.
I think so too.
In between pitches takes so long. It's like I see five pitches takes like 7 minutes, and people complain about timeouts in basketball. I'm sitting in between pitches, just bored out of my mind. Like, I wonder if he's going to throw a curveball splitter here.
Yeah, there's not even like a crazy play that just happened that you're thinking about that they were reviewing. It's literally just another pitch. Yeah, and then let's also talk about there needs to be I don't know if there is already. There needs to be a limit on mound visits, because I swear to God, they go to the mound. They go to the mound and sit there for like 10 minutes. They're like, "Yep, okay," and then they don't even make a pitching change. Like, couldn't you just yell that from the sidelines? Like, I've worked enough baseball games to get so mad whenever there's like then they bring in a pitcher for like one batter and change it again.
When you're working those games, do you have a mic? Do you have a mic on the coaches or anything?
It depends. Not usually. I can't hear what they say.
Hear like the coach would come up and be like, all right, Tommy, I want you to throw a strike this time. Sure, coach. Yeah, I think we got this one.
See if you can find the zone there for me, son.
Hey, trust me, curveball down the middle. He ain't gonna expect it.
Hey, he's gonna be swinging for the fences. Throw a little change up. And the thing is, this while we're on this little baseball rant, I can't tell the difference between pitches if I'm just sitting there watching. And I know that's horrible to say, probably because I'm just not a baseball guy. I haven't been around the game that much, which is horrible to say because my dad played professionally. The worst is when you're
around baseball people, though, and they're like, yeah, he's throwing a knuckleball next, and you're just like,
that ever happened to you before?
No comment. I plead the fifth.
It's just like, just let me watch the game. Like, it's different during basketball.
No, it's the equivalent in basketball. It's like in basketball, if I'm just like, oh, they're about to run a horn set, watch a weak side cut, and you're just like,
watch this backside flare screen, false action on the other side while they run a high ball screen, pick and roll up top, and you're just like, and everybody's like, what?
You're like, shut up!
I guess if that's your passion, that's fine, because that's how we are about basketball. But I don't know. It's just rough.
I don't know how baseball people do it, but props to y'all. All right. All right. It's talking soccer now. We're just grinding through this.
Oh my God. We got to cover all the bases.
All right. Golf. Tiger's going to win golf. I'll throw a future out there. Tony Finau to win the Masters. I think he's 1 under through 18. Tony Finau's so due for a huge major win. And now it's talking golf.
Nice.
Talking soccer. Champions League. Liverpool's up 3-1 first leg. Villarreal up 1-0 over Bayern. Real Madrid 3-1 over Chelsea, and Man City 1-0 over Atletico Madrid. Thoughts?
Karim Benzema, world class.
Yeah, he hat trick. That was nice.
Hat trick, yeah.
Liverpool might win all 4 trophies. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Actually,
no. Don't say that. Don't say that.
All right, we'll talk NBA here. I just want to give this one story real quick. When we did the live in person podcast, Connor goes, and if UNC beats Kansas, knock on wood, and he didn't knock all the way. He didn't.
There was no wood around.
Mm-hmm. You create wood if you need wood.
I guess I could have. Yeah, could have chopped some wood and knocked on it, perhaps.
Yeah. So
that's on me. That's on me, guys.
Knock on wood here.
That championship loss is on me.
All right, all right. No more of this BS. Let's talk about the NBA.
Let's get in the nitty gritty.
You said it last time. Same song, different verse for the Hornets. 10th seed. We're doomed. We're not going to the playoffs. There's no way. There's a 0% chance we beat the Nets and the Hawks.
Yep. Yeah, and here's the thing. I called this months ago because it's literally same song, different verse as all the teams had a rough stretch in February after the All-Star break, terrible stretch, picked it up in March, had a pretty decent March, then lost a couple of games they should have won, then got blown out a couple of times by the Heat and the Sixers. And now they find themselves in the 10th seed after being above that for the majority of the year. And here's the scenario for the play-in tournament. We screwed ourselves because Cleveland dropped to the 7th seed. So if the Hornets somehow sneak to the 8th seed, we're going to lose to Cleveland, and then we'll host Brooklyn and get absolutely destroyed by 20. Or it's just with a 9 or 10 seed, which is probably the 10 seed, and lose first game, and it's over anyways. There's no scenario. And Gordon Hayward came back and played 15 meaningless minutes in Philadelphia. Now his foot's sore again. Got a little sand up there in his personal area, and he's out again for another 3 games after playing 15 minutes of professional basketball. I guess it was too early for him to come back. I really don't know because they won't release any information as to what the injury is. So there's no way of knowing. It's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating to see.
Dude, it's the same thing every year with the Hornets, man. It's the same thing every year. And Hayward, I mean, it's crazy that they keep Hayward's injury more confidential than like government stuff.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. And the thing is, I don't know why. Like, the fan base is going to be mad no matter what, and they would be less mad if you released that he had some kind of like lingering injury.
Dude, at least make up something.
Yeah, just say something. If they just say out left foot, and everybody's like, "What is going on?"
I mean, just say something. Like, we don't, even if it's not true. Like, everyone, like Zion, at least with Zion's injury, they're like, "Yeah, he's got a foot problem." We're like, "All right," like they're like, "Yeah, he's coming back. He's doing some 5-on-5 stuff." I'm like, "Okay, tell us that."
There was 0 updates for Hayward, and all of a sudden it was injury report at Philadelphia. Gordon Hayward, probable. And everybody was like, what? Like, since when? It's just ridiculous. And it frustrates me so much because the Hornets have so much talent, and they just can't seem to find that next step. They can't seem to consistently beat these mid-tier teams that they should beat in order to take that next step. And then they can't steal any games against top teams. Early in the year, they stole one against the Warriors when they were undefeated. Like, they had a couple of games they stole, and I was like, oh man, maybe this season's different. How stupid of me to think that. Here we are at the 10th seed once again with 2 games left, and we're probably going to lose both these games. Chicago might dog us tonight, and then no way we beat the Wizards.
We're stuck in the 10th seed, right?
Yeah, I think so for the most part. Unless I think there is a couple scenarios if
we're basically stuck because they all have easy schedules, I'm pretty sure.
That's what I'm thinking. And shout out the Knicks for blowing a 20-point lead to Brooklyn. That was a huge game. They would have like boosted the Hornets one more game, but of course they blew their lead, and the Nets came back and won. It's just tough to see. Like I just said, the Hornets have all this talent, and they just can't figure it out. And whatever it may be.
I need to go back and see when we did the over/unders totals for the NBA podcast. I want to see how we did.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I don't even remember because I guarantee you, like,
I know we the Hornets hit because that was 36.5.
Yeah. If you gave me like a lump sum of money to bet on the Hornets, I would put all of that money on being like right at 500, 39, 40, 41, 42 wins, just something. And we're going to finish 500 again. And James Borrego is going to get one more crack at it because, like we were 1 game away from the playoffs. Like, this team's on an upward trajectory. Give me a break. The talent this team has, the East is wide open. There's no reason the Hornets should not be the 7 or the 8 seed. There's no reason. I know it sucks.
The Raptors are above us. The Raptors are above us. They're in rebuild.
They have 5 players. Is honestly what it is. Yes. They have 5 players. They're the Carolina of the NBA. They have 5 players.
My goodness. All right, real quick in the NBA, we don't have to like get into it. We'll do it next week. Who's your MVP right now? Quick fire.
Joel Embiid,
NBA champion. For me, I think it's going to be Joel Embiid. Jokic kind of fell off a little bit. Even Giannis has a solid case, but he's kind of been playing a little down recently. But yeah, I like Jokic a lot. I think it's 50-50. It's Jokic and Embiid either way. NBA champion. Yeah. Or NBA finals. Who's in the finals this year?
Oh, geez. I think the East is stock as chalk as it may seem. I think the Bucks come out of the East again. As much as I don't want to say that, I genuinely think they come out of the East. Sixers look weak. Heat aren't a playoff team, I don't think. And who else is up top that I'm missing?
Celtics.
frauds.
Yeah,
Celtics are frauds. So I think the Bucks
Celtics are losing first round.
100%. And I think the Bucks come out of the East, and then if I go West, it's a toss up because the Suns are playing so good right now.
You don't want to pick the Suns. I get it because I don't want to pick the Suns either.
I don't want to see Bucks Suns again. I don't want to see it again. I'm going to pick the Warriors. I think Steph comes back and has a historic run. So how about Warriors Bucks? I think the Warriors win it if Clay can continue his decent shooting streak and Jordan Poole keeps putting up 20 a game off the bench.
Steph comes back healthy.
Yeah, if Steph comes back healthy, Draymond Green figures it out because their big three has only played 11 total minutes together this year. So if they figure that out, they have some elite defense, some great role players that can step up. I think
not having a real center though does hurt them.
It hurts them very much, but the thing is they haven't had a real center before. They had Bogut. That's their first year, and then Festus Ezeli started for them for a couple of those finals wins. So it's not like it's anything new. They have injured Boogie Cousins.
There's like 15 different final scenarios where I wouldn't be surprised at all. If you like genuinely told me like, yeah, Celtics Grizzlies like are the finals this year. I'm like, it's not the craziest thing I've ever heard.
No, Grizzlies get a couple good matchups, maybe God forbid, but like an injury or something, or like something falls in their favor, or something works out in their favor. I could see it happening. Like the Grizzlies have been consistently good against top teams. So why couldn't that continue in the playoffs? I don't know.
Okay, we're almost out of time. Real quick, last thing, I want to save this for last because it's awesome. The Lakers didn't even make the play-in.
Oh man,
the Lakers suck. LeBron, LaFraud, the crypto. You can't do it.
Lake Cancun hitting the beaches a little early this year.
And
the thing is,
street clothes.
Everybody's like, oh, like you're hating on LeBron. He's 37, putting up these historic numbers. That's fine. I'm not hating on him for his individual stats because he had a great year. He handpicked his team. He knew what he was getting himself into. And the Lakers at the trade deadline basically said, you made your bed, now go lay in it. We're not going to trade away any future assets to try to fix this short term. Like, this is what you chose, so make the play in and do something about it. And they ended up missing it. Injuries, whatever. Talk about different starting lineups. He handpicked his team in a professional basketball league and did not make it to one of the top 10 teams in one conference. He did in a conference. That's horrible.
Yeah, it's very, 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 very funny because he picked his team. He chose even Buddy Hield would have made a much bigger difference than Russell Westbrook. He picked Russell Westbrook, traded, and they're gonna get John Wall next year. It's gonna do nothing.
It's literally nothing. Going to be the same exact thing. They're going to run it back with basically the same group of players, just different names.
Every LeBron fan's like, oh, he almost won the scoring title at this age. It's like, okay, yeah, he put up all the shots. Like, he didn't win games.
Yeah, I mean, the scoring title I don't think it means that much. I think it does, but if you look at the games and watch the games, he's putting up 30 shots a game, which is, give him credit for being 37 years old and doing that. I don't want to take anything away from him. But when you handpick your team and you're not one of the top 10 of 15 teams in the conference, there's no excuse.
Yep, exactly. Well, that'll do it from us.
Basketball's a team game.
Yep, that'll do it from us. We'll be back. Interviews are coming back. Crazy schedule in March. That was bananas. But interviews are coming back. We will have an episode coming out Tuesday. Make sure to check out cartercast.com. Watch this. If you're not watching it right now on cartercast.com, make sure to go check it out and check out articles on there. Follow us on all social medias, blah, 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 blah. You know the whole deal. And we will see y'all. What's today? We'll see y'all Tuesday. And also, shout out the UAB Blazers.
UAB.
All right. We'll see y'all later. Bye.
UAB.